Now, I told you about the Nigerian athletes, well, an American athlete supposed to be now, but a Nigerian. So let me just begin, first of all, by talking about this young lady you see on the screens now. See the picture at the top is the same person who is now down. Different flags, different nationalities as we have it now. So the first picture with her in the Nigerian flag was in 2020, before the Olympic Games in Japan, that's Tokyo. She went there and competed for Nigeria. Let me tell you what. Now, she was supposed to rep Nigeria in a hammer throw in the last Olympics held in Tokyo, but the Nigerian team were disqualified along with 9 others for failing to undergo a mandatory test due to an error by the Federation in Nigeria officials. I repeat, this lady you see up there is the same lady down there with the American flag. In 2020 in Tokyo in the Olympic Games, she was going to compete for Nigeria in a hammer throw, but she could not, together with 9 other athletes from Nigeria, because an official of the Federation in Nigeria failed and made an error, so the team failed to conduct or undergo the test they had to undergo. So they were disqualified and could not compete for Nigeria. When it happened that way, she was so livid, and because she was born in America and is based in America, decided that she's had enough with how poor things are done in Africa with African nations, and switched to compete for the Americans. And 4 years on, this year at the Olympic Games in Paris, this young lady has won the silver medal, placed second to win a silver medal for America in hammer throw. Did you hear that? So Africa losing out, and she now switched to compete for America, and she's won the silver medal, placing second in hammer throw. That's the first one. Let's now go to another Nigerian. I want to show you another Nigerian whose name, as we all know, is Favor Ofili. Now, Favor's story is that you recall about a few days to the commencement of the Olympic Games, there was a story of a Nigerian athlete who had to announce via social media that she was omitted by Nigerian officials for competing in 100 meters, even though she qualified for that. She had to compete only in the 200 meters because the officials in Nigeria failed to enter her for the 100 meters. Yesterday, she qualified for the finals of the 200 meters and placed 6th in the finals. And when it was all done, listen to this audio. Let the audio now play and the video play. Listen to the audio behind the video.
No, let her cry. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I know, right? I'm okay. No, let her cry. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I know, right? I'm okay. No, let her cry.
She was crying not because she placed 6th. I told you before the games began, this woman qualified for both the 100 meters and the 200 meters. She is based also in the US. She's based in the States, but a Nigerian, so runs for Nigeria. She has qualified only for the Nigerian Federation to fail again to register her for the 100 meters, leaving her to compete for only the 200 meters. Now, because she came out and complained that she had been left out and not registered for the 100 meters, the officials were clearly angry that she came out with that news. So throughout the whole time she was there, she was pretty much neglected. She had to do everything on her own with no official helping, supporting, and being with her. So when she was done with this race in the 200 meters final, she was just devastated. She was alone, and she just could not handle it. She broke down, crying, and you heard the words she used, "I am just tired." You recall I gave you the story of Annette, who won the silver yesterday in the hammer throw, another story of the Nigerian Africa. Okay, this one is enough. Drop it. Now, let me show you a story that we are very much aware of from St. Lucia. This year at the Olympic Games, we have now been told and we are now aware of an athlete from St. Lucia who has won 100 meters, Julian Alfred. There you see the wonderful lady on your screens now. The whole cabinet were in a meeting. They had to pause, watch her, and you saw how proud they were. They could afford to be proud because they had invested in their own, and their own was making them proud. Now, let me show you a picture that indicates and that tells a story of what they have done for this girl. And I'll give you the backdrop story to Julian Alfred. Let's have the image now on the screens now. Yes, this is Julian Alfred. Now, this young lady is also based in the States, even though she was born in St. Lucia. Now, 2 years ago, as a student out there in the States, university level in the States, she competed in what they call the NCAA championships, which is a college sports level sports that is held annually in the States for all the universities and colleges out there in the States. This young lady competed for her school in the States, won the 100 meters 2 years ago for that level, NCAA, I repeat. It's like CESA games or whatever, university games. That's how we call it here in Ghana. She won the 100 meters out in the States. Immediately she did that and won that. Look, now drop the slack for us. Look at the things, the slack go off and let's see everything there. This is what her country, after having won the NCAA sports, school sports level, realized that this girl has talent. Let's support her and push her talent. They first of all gave this young lady a diplomatic passport to ensure that she could move easily to and fro with her movement to go and train and get things done. So they gave her a diplo passport. That's one. Two, and you can see behind me, two was the most important thing for me on the left side. They gave her support, budgetary support provided as well for her. States, the nations had to give her money. Anytime she has to travel for coaching, for training, for competitions, whatever it is, they make provision for her from the state. That's Julian. The third one, as you know, is what they did, committing all this to ensure this girl will achieve. This is 2 years ago, after she won the NCAA, the nation has to give her this. Okay, 2 years on, Paris Olympic Games comes up, and this young girl wins the 100 meters over the favorites from the Americas and all of them. It's her first Olympic Games, and she wins a gold medal for St. Lucia, an island country out there in the Caribbean who are under 200,000 people. There are just a few people out there. But she comes to the games for the first time. She's a youngster, and she's won the 100 meters over America's Sha'Carri Richardson, who was the favorite. And not the Jamaicans who were there. She won it over all of them. You know why I'm doing what I'm doing? Let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. Do you know the girl from Ghana who was at the Olympic Games called Rose Yeboah Amwanima? Okay, so if you don't know Rose Amwanima Yeboah, this young high jumper from Ghana, luckily is also based now in the States. Originally she was in Ghana, did a school sports, uni level, she was at Cape Coast University and all of that. Fortunately, she got a scholarship and had to move to the US, where she's now based, also schooling and doing sports for her school. This year, in June this year, Rose Amwanima Yeboah won the same thing, the NCAA I mentioned. She won high jump, competing against the American folks in the school level. She won the same NCAA in a high jump for the school with a jump of 1.97 meters. She used that to win the championship for her school in America for the NCAA. The same thing Julian won 2 years ago, after which she got the support from her nation, and today she's won. Rose did that in June this year. Now, she has qualified for Olympic Games for Ghana as well. So we're taking her to Olympic Games to compete for Ghana in Paris. She gets to Paris, and Rose wanted to go with her personal coach. Personal coach or trainer. You know, in that specialized sport, jumping, throwing, if you watch the Olympics very, very well, almost every athlete comes with their coach. They're always in the stands, close to where they're competing. So whenever you're done with your jump or your throw, you go to them, they give you a few tips on what went wrong, what went right. Now, Rose was denied that asking to go with her personal trainer. She was denied that. So she had to go with the Ghana team for the pre-campaign with no coach. Ghana had a coach with a team, but Ghana's coach in the team is a sprint coach. Ghana's coach with the Ghana team in Paris is a sprinting coach, sprint coach, not a jumping coach. There are differences there for them. So she had to train on her own mainly with the help of the sprint coach, which was totally off the mark. Now, you know the interesting bit about this and why I'm bringing it up. The games begin in the qualifiers. Rose could not get beyond the third round. The jump of 1.91, she could not jump it at the Olympic Games. So she was out. In the finals of the same long jump, or high jump, the person who placed third to win the bronze medal could only jump 1.97 to win the bronze medal for her nation. Rose Amwanima Yabwa in June jumped 1.97 to win the NCAA in the US. The person who won bronze at the Olympic Games a month on in Paris jumped 1.95. What the girl was asking for, let me come with my coach. It's important. But Ghana could not afford to give her that wish. So we went out there and failed. All I am saying here today is that, you see, for some of these sports, some nations are deliberate and they plan, and therefore when they plan and invest in there, they reap the results. We are seeing that in St. Lucia's. I'm using her for an example because she's not from America or Jamaica for you to bring an excuse of they already established. She's coming from St. Lucia. It's their first gold medal at the Games. She's there for the first time. But because the nation realized that indeed this talent needs to be supported for her to build and improve, they invested in her. And just 2 years on, she's a champion and a medalist at the Olympic Games. We have our own. Yambuan in any way, but her own efforts, she's gotten to where she is today. All she wanted was a bit of help. We didn't do that. And yet we sit in Ghana and all we do is to criticize these boys and girls when we see them go out there and fail in their sports. We have our sprinters at the Olympic Games this year, the likes of Azamati. When he was on the track and it didn't go well, a lot of people were trolling them. I saw the trolls on social media. I was sad. Because ask yourself, what have we as a nation invested in these boys and girls at the Games? Nothing. These boys and girls are fortunate that indeed some of them are based in the States. They have to go through a school sports in the States, so the schools will help them financially. Once they are done with school, scholarships cease. So they depend on themselves. If you have to go and compete, it's your own money. If you have to go and qualify for Ghana, it's your own money. They spend their own money to try and compete in games and qualify for the games for Ghana. Ghana gives them zilch. And when they go there and it doesn't work out for them, we sit back home in Ghana and laugh because we are not a serious nation. We are not investing, first of all, but we want to reap results. If we want as a nation to really achieve results in some of these sports, it's about time we invest. Africa and Black Africa, is it that we are cursed? Is it that we are cursed? The Nigerian girl, Annette, was willing to compete for Africa, Nigeria, her nation. Some officials, messed up everything for her 4 years ago and couldn't compete. She switches to America, and 4 years on, she's a medalist for USA in hammer throw. Silver medal for her. Favor of Flee is going through it. She will switch. She will switch eventually and go and win medals for another nation. Rose Yabwa is one we have currently. As a nation, what are we doing for this budding talent? She's won the African Championship 2 times for Ghana. As a youngster in high jump, 2 times she's won African Championships. What are we doing for them? So if we don't sit back as a nation for our sports and plan, get a proper plan for athletics and invest in there to ensure we win laurels, we will annually be doing this. We'll go spend some few dollars. People, officials will go and sit out there in whichever country, go and enjoy. They'll come back, we'll have no medal. For over 40 years in going to Olympic Games, all you have to show is 4 or 5 medals. All these years, 4 or 5 medals. All these years. Let's improve and do better. Let's do better.